At the bottom of your Edify Hub or WordPress website, you have little blocks of content that share different information about your ministry. Now maybe you want to move those blocks around or add some new ones or take some away. How can you do that? I'm Steve Dwyer, founder of Edify Hub, and on today's video tip, I'll show you how you can control the little blocks of content on the bottom of your Edify Hub or WordPress website. When you want to change the appearance of your website, the first thing you'll do is to log on to the dashboard, which I've already done here. Once you're on the dashboard, you're going to want to go to your customizer. You may be able to click the Customize Your Site button, or if that's not there, you can go into the Appearance menu and choose Customize. In the Customizer, you'll see a lot of different options here on the left, as well as a preview of your website over here on the right. Now, one thing you'll notice about this preview is that it's a little bit narrower than a normal screen. So depending on the size of your screen, you may see all of those content blocks stacked on top of each other, the way a large mobile device might see them. If you want to go back and view the website the way a regular desktop or laptop viewer would see it, you can click the collapse on the left side and move those out of the way, and your website will be laid out. Now these bottom areas here are the ones that we're going to be looking at today. These are the content block areas that WordPress and Edify Hub call widgets. Let me open up the widgets section, and I'll scroll to the bottom of the page so that you can see the different widget areas. Every one of the widget areas has a name, which you can see on the left-hand side. And let's walk through those for just a minute. So here is the copyright widget area. This one is the primary widget area, where the Our Updates and Your Comments sections go when your website is first created. This next section is the sending information widgets. If you gave a sending church or a sending mission agency, then these blocks will be created. You may have one, you may have both, you may not have one at all. And all of those blocks show up on every page. Then there's another section here, the ministry info widgets, which only show up on the home page. So let me collapse the customizer for a moment. And you can see this section right here is the one that is your ministry information. And the amount of information you have here may be different depending on how much information you gave at the beginning of your Edify Hub website setup. If it was able to find a location, the location will be there. If it could find the people group that you mentioned, your people group will be there. And if you chose to show your support level on your website, then the support level will be there. Let's open up the customizer again. And here are those blocks. Now, depending on the theme that you've chosen, if this is a WordPress website, or the Edify Hub design that's chosen if this is an Edify Hub website, you may have different widget areas that are available. But this is the default that you'll normally see when you first create a website using Edify Hub's website builder for missionaries. I'm going to collapse the customizer again so that we can talk about how these widget areas are laid out. Each of these little blocks is a widget, and the whole area that they live in is called the widget area. Each widget area allows the widgets in it to go into rows that line up horizontally. And each row is further divided into columns. The ministry info area has 3 columns at most. The sending information can have 2 columns. And this area down here called the primary can have up to 4 columns in each row. The number of columns in a row for each widget area is chosen by the design creator. It is possible to customize your design, but that's not what this video is about. For now, let's just stick with the columns that are given to us by the designer. Let's suppose I want to add a content block to my primary widget area to give a list of the categories for my updates. I'm going to open my customizer panel again. Let me scroll down so that I can see what's happening. And I'll go to primary, and I'm going to add a widget. Here are all the widgets that I can add. I'm going to choose to add a list of categories. So here's my categories. It's recalculating the layout. There's my categories list. Let me collapse, and I can see that I'm surprised because, Steve, didn't you just say that this area down here can hold up to 4 columns? Why did categories go on a separate line, on a separate row? Shouldn't there have been room to have 3 or 4 widgets all in one row? One of the things that the Edify Hub designer lets you do when you add a widget is you can tell it how many columns you want that widget to take up. These widgets are set to use 2 columns each. So let me change the first one to only take up 1 column, and we'll see that there's a difference in the layout for a desktop when we collapse this. Now we see the first widget takes up only 1 column, the second widget takes up 2 columns, and the third widget takes up 1 column. Sometimes in one row you may have one widget that needs more room than the others. For example, these widgets up here, in order to keep things from wrapping, if you had other widgets in this row, you'd want to make sure that you had enough room for this one. By assigning multiple columns to a given widget, you can allow one widget to take up more room than the others. In this case, that's probably not what we want to do, so we'll go ahead and switch that column count for the middle widget back to 1 as well. And we'll see what that looks like. There, now all 3 of the widgets are evenly spaced. And what if I want to move a content block from one place to another? Suppose I want to move my support level to be a 4th column down here in the primary widget area. How can I do that? Well, we'll open the customizer again. If we step back from customizing the primary and go into the Ministry Info widgets, which is where our support level goes, I can click the Reorder button, and I have options to move my widgets around. So you can see that I just moved the support level in front of Teso. Or I can actually click this button to move it into a different widget area. So I'm going to move my support level into primary. And now if we collapse this, at the top I now have only 2 widgets in this area, and my support level has moved all the way to the bottom. Now this looks a little bit off-centered. I'd really like my support level to be all the way over on the left. So let me collapse my support level. Let me drag the support level up to be the first widget in the area. And now, if I look at it again, I have my support level all the way on the left. Now let's suppose that I don't really want the Your Comments block there. Let's suppose people aren't really commenting, or that isn't what I want to focus on. I can remove a block by clicking here and removing. And now, if I collapse my customizer, I have just the 3 widgets, and the Your Comments is gone. Now most of those controls are going to look exactly the same on a WordPress website, but the automatic balancing of columns and the ability to choose how many columns, that's a feature that's unique to the Edify Hub Ministry website builder. But now you know how you can add, remove, and rearrange the content blocks at the bottom of your Edify Hub website.